I kind of wish people were right about rapists in a way, that there were these monsters hiding in the shadows. People that didn't know anybody else. People that didn't have families. People that didn't have any friends. People that hid in their basement. Like the basement dwelling losers that don't have any friends or family. Maybe their mom, they don't have a job, or they live alone in the shack, and they don't have any family even, and they plan and they have stringy hair, and they hide in the alleyways. That's what, I wish that were real. I wish that were real, because it would be so much easier to identify the monsters in this world if they look like monsters, but they don't. They are real people, and they're not ugly all the time. They're not old men. They're not even people like Donald Trump. I mean, he might be a version of that. And people like Harvey Weinstein, who's gross looking, they're a version of that. But it's not just them, okay? It's frat guys who work out every day or go to the gym, gym, tan, and laundry, it's people that have jobs. It's people that aren't even jocks. They're not just frat boys either. It's the nerdy guys, or the preppy guys, or the guys that have college degrees and careers and are smart and look innocent and are sweet and nice to some people, because I was actually friends with the person that did it to me, and it's hard it's harder for other people to understand, but having two versions of a person in your mind, it's like you were one person up to a point, and then you transformed in my mind to someone completely different. Because if I see this person in public, I completely freeze, and I can't talk or think. I don't know how to even react. I would love nothing more to punch him in the face. And every time I see his picture on Facebook, if somebody tags him in a picture, it makes me literally nauseous. And when I think about what happened, it makes me so mad, and I can't stand him, and I literally am on the verge of hating him. And I don't hate anybody. I don't hate him to the point where I don't want him to get saved and go to heaven, because I do. But it's hard having a friend, not only, going through that, but losing a friend alongside of it. Not only losing them, but completely erasing the whole past of your friendship. And there's two versions of this person in your mind. The friend that you thought you had, the person that was sweet to you and nice to you, and you felt sorry for her because he wanted to date you, but you wouldn't. You didn't want to date him, and you felt bad, and you were trying to be nice about it. And that's what the problem happens, because, you're trying to be, because you feel bad, because you're like, you're nice to me, and I know you like me, but I don't feel that way. I could never feel that way about you. So you feel bad enough already. So you're trying to be extra nice. So when they put their arm around you, you feel bad. You don't feel joyous, throwing their arm off of you, because you feel sorry for them, because you already know that because you're a girl and you're supposed to be nice for one thing, but society's like, oh, she's mean to boys, how dare she? And we're taught all along, you have to be polite at all times, no matter what, and you can't hurt boys' feelings, because they're already scared to ask girls out. Screw that, because I did that. I felt sorry for him, because he decided he wanted to date me. He made that decision, and maybe he couldn't help that he felt that way. That's fine, but he didn't have to force it on me. He didn't have to pretend in front of other people that we were dating. He didn't have to try to force himself on me emotionally. He didn't just try to rape me physically. The whole friendship turned into a relationship rape. He tried to force a relationship on me, too. I mean, he even told people, don't flirt with her. She's my girlfriend. He told people that I actually liked this. And we weren't together. We were just friends. I was trying to be nice. That's all. I was trying to be nice because I felt sorry for him. Because he wanted to date me and I knew I didn't. And never again will I do that. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care when people are like, you can't even date a girl. You can't even ask your girl on a date without her being mean to you about it or claiming sexual harassment. It's like, you know the difference, for one thing. But if a girl just tells you to leave her alone, you leave her alone. And I don't feel sorry for these guys. It's like, I can't even talk to girls. I'm afraid they'll say I'll sexually harass them. Boo-hoo. I don't feel sorry for you. Get over it. Because we've done this. We played this game. We tried for centuries to be polite and him haul around. And look where that gets some people. Oh, I can't just tell you to get your arm off of me and leave me the freak alone. I can't be like mad at you when you force me to kiss you. You know, because that's rude. I don't want it to be awkward or be mean to you. Because then you'll get your little ego and feelings hurt. You know, and it's like, I have to play this off like it's not a big deal. Because otherwise, he'll get mad at me. And the worst thing ever for a girl is for men to be mad at them. Because who knows what might happen. Even now, I can't even say his name. Like, so-and-so raped me or tried to rape me. It's complicated because it's both. Okay? And the technical terms would be oral rape and then attempted vaginal rape. That's the technical terms. So, it's confusing when I say he tried to rape me and that he did rape me, because he did both. Okay? But, anyway, I just said the technical terms, and people will be like, oh my gosh, she said dirty words. And people are going to focus more on that than the fact that, you know, even if I told them who it was, they'd be like, but you said the dirty words. You said oral. You said vaginal. How dare you? You're such a slut. But anyway, honestly, it makes me so mad that Donald Trump could say grab him by the pussy, and I have one, and I will get judged for saying that. Even though the same people that would judge me for saying that would still to this day support him. Even though he was bragging about actually doing the thing, and I can't say it. Even if I said it about a cat, like an actual feline, like even when people wore cat ears to a women's march, people were like, they're wearing pussy hats. It's like, yeah, cats. Feline cats. Big freaking deal. You're more offended about that than him saying that he grabs people? Oh, I can't even get into it because it makes me so angry. Like, people posting these pictures of celebrities wearing dresses to the Golden Globes that show some cleavage, and they're like, you're asking for it by dressing like this. I'm so stupid. I don't even know how I survive in this world. Like, honestly. Because, what do you do? Like, do you see an annoying person or see somebody that looks annoying and walk up and punch them in the face and be like, you shouldn't have looked annoying, you were asking for it? Or, you know, anything. That no matter how somebody dresses, doesn't give anybody else the right to come up and do anything to their personal body. That is their body. It's nobody else's, and they have every right to say what happens to it. Forever, no matter what they are doing, they have a say over their own body. Everyone, male and female, has a say in what happens to their own body. Even the doctors will tell you that. There are laws even in place at hospitals. This is my body. I say what happens to it, and God does too. I mean, God does first of all. Firstly, God does, but like, no other human being on this planet has a right to do things to my body. They have to get your approval to do any kind of surgery unless you are actually, like, out of it. And they're saving your life, so obviously you're not going to be complaining, you know, whatever. But there are women and men in nursing homes that get raped and molested. Those people are not asking for it. There are children that get raped and molested. They are not asking for it. You wonder why it's such a problem suddenly? It's not suddenly a problem. It's been a problem for centuries. It's only just now that everybody is finally waking up and being like, this is too much. Time is up. It's over. We're not putting up with this anymore. And I don't care who gets mad at me. Delete me, whatever. I don't care. Stop being nosy. The only reason half of you people are on my Facebook is because you're too nosy. You can't even stand how nosy you are, and you're controlling. And you think you can control how everybody else in the world behaves based on your own personal opinions, and then you act like, oh, it's because God said so. I know the Bible. I don't know it very well, but I know good and well it doesn't say you have to put up with being raped. He don't like that, for sure. If he doesn't like sex before marriage, he certainly doesn't like people raping someone who doesn't even want to. If he doesn't like this sexual activity, he certainly doesn't like it being forced on an innocent victim. Okay? So, anyway, it's horrible. There is a reason you're supposed to wait till marriage. And it's because of things like this, for one thing, but that doesn't, being sexual before marriage is not asking for rape, but it makes you realize why it's so awful. That is a sacred bond between people, and it physically, scientifically, they have proven that when you do sleep with someone willingly, even, that you are emotionally attached. You physically get emotionally attached. Women do. That's an actual scientific proven fact. And that is a space reserved for someone you really trust. Because, even when you get used for that, that's not like rape, and that's not, no, people are not saying like, I regretted it so then I cried rape. I hate it when people use the words cry rape. Like, nobody cries rape like they're crying wolf. That's stupid, okay? That's such a thing that people think. That there's a term that people use all the time. Cry rape. Oh, these poor guys. Oh, the reputation's being ruined. If 90% of you people are out here talking like this, obviously their reputation is just fine because you're defending the stupid men doing these stupid, horrible things. If all of y'all are acting like it's her fault or the victim's fault if it's a male victim, or it's even worse for boys that get raped. Even though 98% of rapists are male, there's a percentage of victims that are male, and their rapists are usually male too. The reason being because of rape culture. If you want to act like women are asking for it, what you're basically saying is if women are asking for it, then yes, all men. You want to say not all men? Well, if women are asking for it, then yes, it is all men. Because if a woman showing cleavage causes a guy to want to rape her or grope her, then you're saying any guy would do it, that you would do it. So you either say not all men, or you say it's not her fault. It can't be both. If a girl is asking for it by how she dresses, strip clubs would not be able to exist. Okay? They can control themselves when they know there are going to be consequences. They know there's not going to be consequences. For one, that's rape culture. There's not consequences. People feel sorry for them. 98% of rapists don't spend even so much, convicted, proven, with evidence. That's 98% of the ones that are convicted with evidence don't spend so much as one night in jail. You actually look at the facts. Go look it up your own self. Don't listen to just what I say. Go look it up. Okay? Unless you're black. Because those people, get 60 years in prison for rape, which I'm not saying they shouldn't, but, I'm just saying, why is it only them that do? It's like, well, I had thought that maybe, because back in the day there was a problem during the civil rights movement of white women saying that black men raped them just as an excuse to put them in jail. And they didn't even question it. They were just like, okay, she's telling the truth, let's put him in jail. And they did it for, that was during the Jim Crow era and all that. After slavery was abolished, they had to find ways to get black people into jail so that they could take the prisoners and, work them to death. And they treated them even worse after that than they did when they were slaves. which is so messed up. And you even hear people say that today. They're like, well, they're criminals. They should be out there working. I'm like, you don't know what they did. You don't know if they did it. So many people go to jail that are innocent for so many things, but I'll get to that later. But I was thinking about that, and I was like, you know what? Probably that's not the start of it, though, because back when this country was first taken over by white men from the Native Americans, a lot of the main thing they did, they slaughtered and raped Native American women. White men were raping the Native American women, and they continue to do so today at an alarming rate. But, and I was watching a television show. Well, I wasn't watching it, someone else was, and I saw on there that there was this woman, she was an adult, and her Native American son, who she gave up, because she was supposedly, she was raped by, in the show, she was raped by a Native American savage. And she didn't want anything to do with the kid because he was Native American and she had been raped. Which is like, if you don't want your kid because you've been raped, that's understandable. But, you don't want that reminder. Like, if you give them up for adoption for that reason, you're like, well, yeah. But that's individual choices. But, and I was watching this and I'm like, this is propaganda. This is propaganda. No, because they were acting like that was a typical thing for those savage, unhuman Native Americans to rape women randomly, and I'm like, no, it was actually the other way around is what usually happened. I'm not saying it never happened the other way, but I'm just saying, like, probably 99.9% of that interaction was white men raping Native American women. So, yeah, it really ticked me off. I'm like, this is propaganda, that's lies. Like most television shows back in the day. I saw Leave It to Beaver on, and there was this kid, he was like, I saw two Indians fighting outside. And it made me mad instantly. But I was like, what the heck is this? Which I know it's back then, but that was all propaganda. And his friend, or some kid there, was like, no, you didn't. There ain't been Indians around here for 200 years. I'm like, first of all, they're still here. Hello. Hi, I'm Heather. I'm Native American. Not fully, but, like, it's like, for one thing, hello. Second of all, there are thousands of full-blooded Native Americans still here. They're still here. We're still stealing their land. We're still treating them like garbage. The news and the media is still not covering we're whitewashing everything still. Whatever. This is not about race, though, but it ticked me off. But even back in the day, there's always this whitewash, white men do no wrong history that we all hear in school. That's all lies, and everything you learned in history in school was probably a lie. But that's not this discussion, so we'll get to that at a different time. But that is part of the problem with rape culture, is that white men didn't get in trouble for anything. I'm not saying, like, if a Native American man did rape somebody, he should get a lot of time in jail too. If a black man rapes somebody for real, he should get a lot of time in jail too. But the thing is, it shouldn't only be them that get in trouble. I saw this guy, he was convicted of rape and sentenced to 60 years in jail, but he turns out he was innocent. They found out later. It's like, they're so quick to, like, not care, but, like, that's kind of a problem on the other side of it. It's so sucky. But it's like, if he really did do it, then 60 years is fine with me. But regardless, he doesn't have to be white for me to want him to be in jail. But, it's just that they do get in trouble for it, mostly. So it's like, why do only they get in trouble for it? They should, if they do it, they should get in trouble for it, but, not them only. Like, and I saw this other thing, Brock Turner, the kid that couldn't eat steak because he felt so bad about getting in trouble for raping someone, and his daddy had read a letter because he was good at swimming. Oh, he's a little guppy. Isn't he so adorable? But anyway, oh gosh, he ticks me off. But, the whole thing ticks me off. But he got 3 months in jail. they put a picture up of this guy. He was a black kid, and he was about 18. He stole some snacks from a convenience store. Okay, he took probably like chips or something. He shoplifted, basically, some snacks at a convenience store. Okay, he got killed in prison. He had been in there for 6 months, and he got killed in there, dead, which the judicial system didn't kill him, but I don't even know how long he was supposed to be in there. But he was in there at least 6 months, okay, for stealing snacks. Brock Turner got 3 months for raping a woman, and there were 2 witnesses that saw him doing it. We know for a fact he was doing it. He only got 3 months. Now he's just fine and peachy, but, I hope his reputation's ruined. It should be, but it's probably not. And the school fought for him to be okay and not get in trouble, and Peyton Manning's just walking around like he never tried to, like he never sexually assaulted somebody. And all these other rapist quarterbacks, Ben Roethlisberger, all these rapist quarterbacks walking around like they didn't do nothing. And because of their colleges, but Betsy DeVos and all this junk, I've already discussed that on my Facebook, but Betsy DeVos is a piece of garbage. The things she's choosing to do, and it's so maddening. And people are like, oh, you have to like Trump. He hired a woman for this job. I'm like, yeah, Betsy DeVos, hello. She's like the worst at her job. Like, saying that like colleges should handle rape cases that happen on campus themselves. I'm sorry, that's just not okay. That is just not okay. That's a crime. It's like, see, this person was murdered in my house, so I will handle it myself. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, no, you're not gonna give rapists detention and get away with that bullcrap just because they're good at some sports and bring your stupid college some money like you need anymore because you're overcharging for it. So many things wrong. But I'm off topic. But, I just wanted to say that because, it ticks me off that, we're like, oh yeah, that person is black and they committed a crime, so they deserve to die. But, when a white guy rapes somebody, we need to give him a chance. We need to give him a second chance. Well, people that are dead don't get a second chance. So, it just ticks me off, the whole race issue too. But, they kind of, sometimes they do bleed into each other, the feminism and race issue. And plus there's, a lot more problems with, like, Native American women get raped more than any other ethnic group in America. And, women of color get treated worse than white women in this country. And, they get paid even less for one thing, but all these other stereotypes and all these other issues they face, And then, the 2 issues, sexism and racism, do bleed into each other a lot. But I just want to say that. You won't spend more than probably 3 months in jail. I looked at the sex offenders list. A guy was in there, he raped somebody between the ages of, 3 and 6 years old. 3 and 6. He raped somebody that was between 3 and 6 years old. He was in jail for 3 years. 3 years. Her life is ruined. Ruined. It's like, she will never get over that. Trust me, she won't ever fully get over that. She can be successful and a wonderful person. She can have a great life. But she will never fully recover from that. They had no right to do that. 3 years for raping a under 6 years old. He raped somebody under 6 years old and he got 3 years in prison. Go look at the sex offender list. Go read how they are. I know people myself. Their reputation is just fine. Didn't spend very many years in jail, and then they continued to do it for the rest of their life. I know this. To the point where a little girl who was 12 years old got molested by him, and he was dating her mom. And her brother tried to burn the house down with him in it, but he didn't happen to be in it. And I don't blame her brother a bit. I wish I was like, the brother told me about it. And I was like, good for you. Honestly. He's like, are you going to tell me? I was like, heck no, I'm not. He's like, I did that. I'm like, okay. He's like, I was trying to kill him. I was like, all right, that's fine with me. I'm not telling on you, and I wouldn't, and I'm not going to. I'm like, well, because he had been molesting his 12-year-old sister for months, and beating her, and beating the kid's mom. So I'm like, whatever. It's like Kate on Lost, pretty much. Only he miscalculated when that guy would be home, which sucks. I mean, maybe not. I can't say for sure. I can't say he should die, but, like, I wouldn't say that, but I certainly wouldn't tell on the boy that tried it. But boys that get molested and raped and things, I know a few people personally that have gone through that. And, one of them was a male that did it, and one of them was a female that did it. And I treat her exactly the same as I treat the men that rape people. I feel about her the same way I do male rapists, because she's a rapist too. This wasn't the first time I found out that it wasn't. She did it to a 12-year-old kid, and then she did it to 14-year-old children, and she's disgusting. And I will tell her to her face if she ever freaking asked me if I called her that. I would say, yes, you are, and it's illegal what you did, and you should be in prison. And you're disgusting and desperate and disgusting. And everybody expected, because she was a female, everybody expected the little boys that she molested and raped to be like, oh yeah, I liked it, I enjoyed it. And, like, they can't say that they didn't enjoy it because they're embarrassed that somebody will be like, oh, why didn't you like it? All guys have to like sex all the time. It's like, no, they don't. And they get that. And they get that from so many people. And that's the problem, why they don't report it. Because idiots don't understand anything about anything. And they don't want to understand. It's just like people being like, well, harassment's not as bad as rape. Which it's not. But at the same time, it can be. It depends on what it is. You don't know what level it is. You think harassment is just somebody being like, hey, sweet thing, or hey, toots, or, But no. No. I know. An actual professional psychologist told me that certain levels of harassment, they have the same effect on your mind as being raped. You can't control what if somebody whips out their private parts to you and starts, masturbating in front of you, that has just as much damage on your psyche as a rape. Because the problem with rape is not just the physical. That's not the main problem. That's not the biggest problem. If the guy that had tried to rape me did it, physically, I still would have been fine to this very day. About physically. Physically, it didn't hurt me. It didn't damage me at all. It damaged me emotionally and mentally. Okay? So, you seeing someone doing something like that, your eyes are a part of your body too. That can damage your psyche just as much as something physically happening. Okay? Somebody sending you pictures of their penis unsolicited. People laugh at those all the time, but really, that needs to stop too. And maybe people are like, oh, that's not a big deal. If nobody asks you to see your ugly, flaccid, disgusting, wrinkly balls, don't send pictures to people. Nobody wants to see it. It's not attractive. It's not cute. It doesn't turn us on. Like, penises are not attractive. We don't want to see them. Stop sending them to people who don't want to see them. I've literally, told people before, they beg me, can I send this? Can I send this? Can I send this? No, repeatedly telling him, no, don't send me a picture of your, private area. They did it anyway. And I blocked them, obviously. I was like, I told you not to do that. And it made me so mad. Which, that didn't actually affect me as much as, what happened before, like the other thing. But you don't know how something is going to affect somebody. And if that wasn't in person. So if you're in person with somebody and they're like making you watch them masturbate or something, that can be as psychologically damaging as being physically raped. Okay? Because a psychologist told me so. And it makes sense because, if you think about it. But anyway, it just makes me so upset. And the fact that, if the stereotypes were true, it would all be such an easier world, wouldn't it? Because I just read in the paper, a couple days ago, this guy I sort of know, and I'm not going to put very many details in this, I don't want anybody to know what I'm talking about. I don't really want to bring up people personal things, but individuals. But I sort of know this guy. I've known him for a while. Not really known him, but known of him and seen him around, But, and, we almost talked, for a while, even back several, very many years ago, when we were actually, teenagers. But I had a crush on him even, to this day. Not to this day from then, but, having seen him again, not, an actual crush, but, oh, he's still hot, Because he is. He's hot. He's very hot. He looks exactly like my type. He was exactly like my type, I thought. Everything about him would be my type. And I was like, but he had a girlfriend. So I was like, oh, darn it, he has a girlfriend. So I don't, I was like, whatever. Because I didn't know him well enough to know if I actually liked his personality. He just seemed like I would. I didn't know him well enough to know if I actually liked his personality. But anyway, and he's very, very attractive. So anyway, and I had talked to it, I've talked to him, but he's very friendly, very helpful, very friendly, and the ways that he worked at a place, and I was there. I bought things off of his place of business, and talked to him there, and he's very friendly and helpful, and just super nice. And super cool. And I don't know the details of this, but, I saw in the paper that he was arrested for sexual assault. A sexual crime. I'm not going to say what it was specifically, because then people will figure out who I'm talking about. But he was arrested for a sexual crime against a minor. And I'm like, holy crap, are you serious? And in my mind, I was like, it would be so much easier. Because how do you marry this person that you know? He's super hot. And you think, a lot of people that he knows, even young teenagers, would still find him attractive. He's not old. And so teenagers would find him attractive. How do you marry and you think, well, she probably wanted to do it. Those are the thoughts you think. I did, even. And I looked up what battery, because I didn't know what the crime was, the definition of what the crime was. I was like, so, does that mean, it's statutory rape, or just, actual forced things? I didn't know if it was, an age issue or a consent issue. So, I looked it up, and it was a consent issue. She did not consent. So, I'm like, holy crap, that's terrible. And then my mind wanted to go, because I'm thinking about him that I know, and I'm thinking, I can't believe that, because I can't believe that, but I do, I'm not saying I don't believe it, but I can't believe it, it's hard to believe that person, would do such a thing, and being that attractive, why would you need to? And he had a girlfriend, why would you need to? It's so stupid that he did that. And I'm like, you ruined your own life, your own career, your own everything for nothing. And I'm thinking it would be so much easier for my mind if I could say, this girl who I don't even know, who they didn't even name because she's a minor and they're not allowed, it'd be so much easier for me to be like, she's probably lying. That way I don't have to deal with the fact that this person that I thought I liked and was cool with, I don't have to marry the fact that that guy is the same kind of guy that would do that to somebody. My mind doesn't have to fight the person I knew versus the person the thing that he did, the bad thing he did. And maybe it was one time, I don't know. Who knows if it even, I'm not saying, I was there and I know 100% he definitely did it, but, I'm definitely not gonna say that she's a liar just because that's easier for me. It's easier for people to say this guy that I like, he's attractive, or make up excuses to why he couldn't be somebody that does that because he's attractive. The guy that raped me, most people find him attractive. I don't. But he has a good job. He's had girls desperately trying to date him. He has a career. He has a college degree. He's attractive to most people. He thinks he's really awesome. Like, a lot of people would want to date him. I know a lot of girls that tried to date him and he wouldn't date them. Like, so is it impossible for him to have tried to rape me? Like, like, no, obviously not. I know that now, obviously. So I'm like, being attractive has nothing to do with it. Any attractive person can, and this person with a great career can do it. Like, all the things line up except this, not the guy that, like, the guy that tried with me, he has a terrible personality, actually. It's actually a terrible personality. Like, he was fun to hang out with on the surface level, but his actual personality, even before that happened, I knew his personality kind of sucked because he was a jerk to everybody, and he is a jerk in general. And he makes fun of people for no reason, but mainly because he's jealous of everybody, and he has low self-esteem, and he has ego issues. But anyway, the guy that I read about in the paper a couple days ago, he's not like that, I wouldn't think. He's not one of those people that's always, like, thinking he's better than everybody, and, I don't know him that well, but I'm just saying he doesn't seem like the type, because he's intelligent in ways that would, he's nerdy, too, like, nerdy, as well as not just intelligent, but he's nerdy and dorky, so it's like, you wouldn't believe, that's hard to believe, but at the same time, I'm not gonna say, like, oh, no, she's lying, because that's easier. It's easier for my mind if I just think she has to be lying. It would be so easy. It would be such a relief to think, how, I can continue to like this guy. I can continue to think he's cool. I can continue to pretend like he's perfect and has never done anything bad to anybody. But that's not possible. Even if, they'd have to have actual solid evidence that he was innocent for me to, like, feel the same way about him ever. So, but it would be so much easier to tell myself, she's a liar. She got mad at him for blah, 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 whatever reason, make up something to soothe my own discomfort, because it makes people uncomfortable to think that somebody that they, looked up to, or like, just like Johnny Depp. I looked up to him, my favorite actor since I was a child. I mean, about all the Benny and June, Don Juan DeMarco, which most people probably never even heard of, just everything. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? I always loved all of his movies, pretty much. And I was obsessed with Johnny Depp. And I love his work. I love his movies. Still, I like his work still. Which is fine, but he was abusive to his wife at one point. Or he did an abusive action. He was mad, and he threw things, and he scared her, and they got a divorce, and all this, and all the things, and most people that liked him were like, she's a liar, she's trying to get money, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I can't judge her for how she reacted. I don't know. I'm not calling her a liar just because I like him. When it's this person or that person that I don't like, it's so easy to be like, oh, he did this one bad thing, so I hate him forever because I already did, It's like, no. You can't just choose who is allowed to get away with that stuff. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter. Like, oh, Johnny Depp can get away with doing it, but, the actor that's not very attractive can't, or the president, can't get away with it, but Johnny Depp can. Like, that's not fair. You can't just be like, I don't like this person and he did a bad thing, so I'm going to be like, I don't like him and look what bad thing he did. But when you like somebody, be like, I like him, so what he did that was exactly the same as this person I didn't like, it's okay because I actually like this guy. Like, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. You're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. To be like, oh, this guy cheated on his girlfriend and he's a jerk forever. But, this other guy cheats on his girlfriend with an underage kid, and you're like, oh, it's okay, she's probably lying. It's like, actually, no, probably not, to be honest. But it doesn't matter, because it doesn't change anything. Even if she willingly, if she's lying about consenting or not, like, it doesn't matter, because he cheated too. Like, so it's like, whatever. which I'm not putting cheating on the same page as rape, because it's not even close. Because I don't think it's nearly as bad at all. But, and only 2% of rape victims that of the 100% of rape victims that actually tell the police, which is a small percent of actual rape victims, only 2% of those are lying about it. 2%. But in reported robberies, 25% are lying. You don't hear people say, they cried robbery. That's not a phrase that is used commonly. They cried robbery. Look at them. They're crying robbery. Every time somebody gets robbed, be like, oh, you're just crying robbery. That's not a phrase. But 25% of robberies, reported robberies, are false claims. Yet that's not a thing in our culture. That's not a thing people think of every time they hear that somebody was robbed, is that they're probably lying to get attention. But yet only 2% of reported rapes are false claims. And yet we have this whole entire society that believes every single person that says that they were raped is a liar, trying to get attention. That's not the kind of attention that people want. Honestly. Some of those girls that said that those politicians raped them and harassed them and stuff, and assaulted them, several of those girls have had actual physical consequences. One of the girls got her house burnt down. Somebody burned down her house for telling on her sexual assaulter. Now tell me it's fun to say that in public, knowing that your life could be in danger, especially these high-profile people who have connections. It's dangerous to tell on them. They are brave for telling on them. Like me, if I told on the person, it would be bravery, but I'm scared. I'm actually scared of the consequences. Like, how do I know he's not going to come and shoot me? He's not well in the head. He's not mentally stable. I would not trust him not to hurt me physically. So how am I going to tell on him? How am I going to say his name? Like, this person did this. And expose him. Whenever he could come and burn my house down. He could come and hurt my family. He's done things to me as a revenge just because I wouldn't let him rape me. Just because I wouldn't date him. Just because I didn't want to date him. He's done things to cause me harm for years afterwards. And went and told people things about me and people that I care about. And lied about me and stuff. So it's like, he did that, he tried to get that much revenge. That's how mad he was just because I didn't really do anything to him. How mad do you think he would be if I told people what he did, really? I don't know what he's capable of. I don't trust him. There's no way I would ever say, like, oh, he would never hurt me physically. He wouldn't kill me. I don't know that. I actually think he would. So don't tell me things like, you really did this, you would say something. You would have said something back then. You would have why did you wait so long? It's like, first of all, I didn't know it was a crime. Second of all, there was no evidence the next day, let alone now. There's one witness who would not lie for him, or who would lie for him. There's one witness who heard what happened from his mouth, because he told one of his best friends exactly what actually happened, then went and told everybody else a complete lie. And that person will lie for him. And what am I going to do? Be like, hey, guy that has nothing to do with this, and this is not your fault at all. How about you either tell the truth about what happened to me to get me justice, or, choose between me and your best friend. Which is not even fair to him, really. It's like he can't help but that person told him the truth. It's not his fault that he was the only person that person told the truth to. So it's like, he didn't ask for him to tell him the truth. He didn't ask to be the only person that was told the truth. So it's like, from his mouth, I told people, but I haven't told very many people or anybody that would say things publicly. So it's like, only my closest friends know. My family doesn't know, because they would kill him. Maybe not literally, but they would beat the crap out of him. I know several people that would tear him apart, but that's just, I'm just saying. I'm not going to say who would do it, but several of them would, definitely. I mean, just so many of them would. But, I could go tell people family members that I barely talk to. I know one specifically that I'm thinking of right now that I could tell that to, and he would go and probably he'd be in the hospital, and we don't even hardly talk. So, I'm just saying. But I don't want revenge. I'm not trying to get revenge. But it's just like, I would love to be able to just talk about it like it's a normal thing. Like, I'm like, I don't need to, but like, it's not that I want to tell people who did it. I just don't want to be scared to say it. Because I'm afraid of people finding out who I'm talking about. That's what bothers me. Because it's not fair. He can go and lie about me and stuff, and without any fear of consequences whatsoever. And he can try to rape me without fear of any consequences whatsoever. But I'm more afraid of telling people his name, that he did that, than he is of getting consequences for doing that. That's the society we live in. So no, I don't feel sorry for the people accused of being any of this. Even if they're falsely accused of it. It's like, well, you created this society where we needed this. And it's too late. It's too late. I mean, it's too late. If only 2% of innocent people are going to have to go to jail just to get justice for the thousands of people that have been raped and murdered because they told on their rapists, or because they, didn't want them to tell on them, or anything, like, if for all the victims in the past who never got justice for hundreds of years, for all the women who were burned at the stake, for all the women who've been harassed and bothered and stalked and lies about and all this other stuff, for everything, for all of that, if a few, c'est la guerre. Honestly. I mean, it would be better if we had a perfect world and a perfect justice system to where only guilty people went to jail and all innocent people never did. And that's a horrible thing when innocent people go to jail. But already innocent people go to jail for murder all the time. But people don't even throw a fuss about it as much as they do people saying someone harassed them. Harassed. And that doesn't even do them any harm. Even if they don't lose their job, even if they don't lose their wife, even if they don't go to jail, people are still mad that anybody even said that. There is an issue there. There is some underlying issue there, and I haven't even figured it out yet. What the heck? Why? Why? Why does that upset some people so much? It's because it makes them uncomfortable. People would rather be comfortable than for justice to be done. That's exactly what Martin Luther King Jr. said. Some people prefer comfort and peace, that kind of peace, a peace that nothing happens, they prefer that over the peace that comes with justice. It's insane. But anyway, I'm done with my rant.